Hello, welcome to Let's Talk with me, your host, Irene Solo. Today is Tuesday, and on Tuesday we normally have our heart-to-heart talk. So we're still talking about my nuggets to success, the compilation that I've put together that I've been talking about. So I've decided to put them together so that it can be easy for you to access them, and it can also help you to go back and read, understand, repetition actually helps you to remember things. Hence, we have meditation and all that because it's good for you to keep on learning about it, reading about it, meditating on it, and hence you will be taught well. So, I just launched my book last week, so we're still talking about the same book and why is it important. And you need to understand, why do we talk about success? It does not mean that when you talk about success you have the whole world, you have everything in your hands, you've wrapped it in your hands. But the thing is, whatever you have found yourself going through, have you managed to navigate your way through it, or are you still stuck in there? If you are, there are still nuggets that you can be able to get that will help propel you to move forward. Okay, have you passed through that journey? Then that's well and good. You still have some nuggets that can help you to keep on being resilient until you get to the other side. So when we started talking last week, we were talking about the power of perspective, because I believe from the bottom of my heart that for you to be successful, you need to change how you perceive things. Your perspective really needs to be very, very different. If people are looking at failure, you need to say to yourself, yes, they may look like people are failing, but I see success. No matter how hard it is, I know I can be able to make it. That is resilience. So that is the point I'm coming from, because I have lived that life, I have walked that walk, I have been in that path, and I know and understand that unless you're willing to get out of your comfort zone, it is very hard for you to achieve anything in this phase of life. And another thing you need to know, nothing will just come and fall on your lap. You need to be willing to get up and say, you know what, I've had enough of this and I need a change. Somebody once said something that is so profound. He said, when you keep on doing something again and again and again, you said that is what we define as madness. So you cannot say, I want change while you keep doing the same thing again and again. It does not make sense. So it is time for you to literally embrace change and say to yourself, I am going to think differently. I am going to see things differently. Yes, I came from a poor background, but I came from that. I can be better. Yes, I'm born with this skin that I am in, but that does not make you different. Yes, I may have a challenge. Maybe I'm incapacitated in this way and that way, but that does not make you useless. Today, I sent a quote actually that said that I am not a mistake. I am a blessing. Until you understand that you are not a mistake and you are a blessing, you will keep judging yourself and beating yourself down, saying to yourself, I am not good enough. We all make mistakes. There's one thing I really value. I like people who have made mistakes and they've realized I've made mistakes and they've decided to stand up and resiliently decided that, you know what, I am going to go somewhere. No matter the mistakes I have made, I am going to get better. No matter the pains I've gone through, I'm going to wipe away my tears and I'm going to stand up. In the midst of it, I'm still going to make something good out of my life. Let me tell you something. It does not mean that you will not go through challenges. You will. But how you handle those challenges is what determines what you will become tomorrow or how you will come out of them. It will determine whether you'll come out bitter or you will come out better. The choice is left for you, either bitter or better. So let us continue talking about the nuggets to success. I'll invite Matimba Power, the director of Yahweh TV, to join me, Apostle Power to join me, and we were having a discussion concerning this with him. But as he's coming in, I'm just going to remind you a little bit about what nuggets of success is all about. Remember, nuggets for success are small, valuable pieces of advice or principles that help people achieve their goals. Okay, they are important because they offer practical guidance that can make a big difference in a personal and professional development. Okay, So you need to remember that. That's why we are talking about it, because these small pieces are things that can be able to navigate your life and bring a great change. These nuggets can include tips like setting clear goals, staying positive, working hard, and learning from your failures, getting the right people around you. All these will help you. By following these principles, individuals can improve their chances of success and overcome challenges more effectively. Okay, so nuggets for success are easy to remember and apply. Hence, we come in a very easy way, things that you can be able to relate to, stories that you can be able to relate to, things that happen to somebody, not dreams that we just dreaming, things that we have gone through. And I'm telling you, okay, I've walked this walk and this is what happened. So what do you think about it? You can be able to also walk this walk. Nuggets for success are easy to remember and apply, making them useful tools for anyone looking to achieve their dreams and aspirations. And with these nuggets for success, I'm here to tell you, nobody is perfect. We are all working towards perfection. All I need you to do, open up your heart, open up your mind, listen, change your perspective. Learn to say to yourself, I can do better. No matter what, I am not meant to be down. I am meant to be great. No matter what, I am the best that has ever made. And I am not in a competition with anybody. And when you say that to yourself, you keep encouraging yourself, you will bring the best out of you. Okay. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Thank you, man of God. I appreciate the privilege given one more time to be part of your great show.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm also taking this time to greet the audience that consistently, continually, and intentionally watch your show, which
Yes.
has got so much to offer. Even within the very few minutes that you just took to review, you have shared a lot of things that I wish, through your permission, to take you back a little bit, and we break
Mm-hmm,
them just point by point. How
mm-hmm,
can one become an agent of positivity? How can one
mm-hmm,
become an agent of positivity? Please
mm-hmm.
outline it to us, just as the Lord gives you grace, and also as you have shared in your book.
Okay, so actually, with that we come back to the power of perspective, because I have a point. The first point I have this is embracing gratitude and positivity. One thing I've come to realize in life, unless you're willing to open up your heart and think differently, things may not be easy to navigate, or life may not be easy to navigate, because sometimes we are so stereotyped. We're like, okay, this is how we were born, this is how it's supposed to be, and whether it's bad or good, we stay in there. So in this life, I gave an example about a young boy who was on the street, and he had written something, and somebody else came, and instead of giving him money, just gave us a little bit of coin, but he took the same paper, because the boy had just written there that I'm blind, I need help. And then he took the paper and he wrote something different. What did he write? He wrote there saying that, okay, today is a beautiful day, but I cannot be able to see it. Are you seeing? The perspective was very different. Okay, he actually started by being positive. Today is a beautiful day, but I'm just not able to see it. But to you, it's a beautiful day. That made many people start giving to him and all that. When you change how you think and how you say things and how you perceive yourself and how you perceive your environment, your positivity will come out greatly. Because one thing I've realized is, when we come from families where things are hard, we have a tendency of believing that that is what is meant for us. And in reality, that is not it. Look at things and say to yourself, okay, they said it is white, but I know it is not white. So I'm not going to force my perspective on them. No, but I am going to believe that it is not white, and I'm going to work towards it. So being positive helps you as a person to actually relax, to be content. It helps you to be driven. I've realized that being positive also helps you to be ambitious. And being positive helps you to be content. Being positive helps you to value what you have. So that's one thing I can literally say much about positivity, as Apostle had just asked me to highlight more about it. So, to be
Wow.
sincere, with this power of perspective, I can talk a lot. I just wrote a little bit because that is what I spoke about then. But if you can give me even 10 hours, I think I can speak on just that. Points will always still come because I've realized, be positive, speak positively, and see, the more you speak positively, the more you envision things being positive. And another thing I've realized, the more you speak things positively, the more you start walking towards that direction of positivity, the more you start attracting positive outcomes in your life. Yes,
Wow.
sir.
Beautiful. Allow me to, before we engage on chapter 2 of your book, Nuggets for Success, I want to
Yes.
take a moment just to appreciate Martin Gitai, who is with us. And
Mhm.
also we have Shawai's Mashi. Shawai's Mashi. Thank you so very much for being with us. We also have got Lisa Matewula joining us as well. Thank you so much for watching. For those who can, drop your comment on the comment section. Let us know where you're watching us from. And also, in case you have a contribution to make, even as our host is doing a wonderful job, interact with us and let us know what is your take on the thoughts. Woman of God, you shared a lot so beautiful and powerful. But in chapter 2, you come up with something beautiful, the power of perspective. Not the power of perspective. Who defines you? Who
Mhm.
defines you? In a world where we are living part of our lives on social media, number one, we grow in families where people have opinions. Number two, we grow in communities where people have an opinion about things, about us, about our potential. We go to school, so we have learned over the years that you also find yourself in a classroom. It was one of the giants in SA in speaking that says, look, you are born. When you are born, one, you are born and you grow inside a womb. That's another box. You grow up, you are born now, you are put in a prime. That's another box. You go to school, you are put in a class. That's another box. And you choose a course. That's another box. Then when you die, they put you in another box and take you back to earth. So it's like you live your life in boxes so much that such activities, such interactions throughout our life journey, we can be victims of people's opinions of ourselves, that they attempt to define who we are, what we can do, how far we can go. And you took time with chapter 2 to outline very crucial things. We may maybe take step by step, but talk to us about the importance of not allowing yourself to be defined by
Hmm.
people's opinions and surroundings and backgrounds and stuff.
You
Over
know,
to you, man.
this is this is a very crucial topic, and it can it resonates with different people in different way. And
Mm,
I've come to realize that you as a person, without even realizing, you can allow people to define you. You can determine who defines you. I, I've grown up in a church. I grew up in a Christian family. So we were defined, we knew that we have to go to church. This is what our lifestyle was. Then I've come to realize over the years, I've met people who did not grow up in a Christian family. They also had their own ways of how they did things, right? Okay. To me,
mm,
my values, my perspectives, how I did my things, how I dressed, how I talked was basically supposed to follow the word, the Bible, what I was taught, because I grew up from what? A Christian family. I was told, don't do this, don't dress like this, don't do like this, don't do. So when I come out and I find somebody else who did not grow up in that kind of environment that I grew up in, I'll find that they will do things differently. And sometimes we, as human beings, we have the tendency to try to force our own lifestyles onto other people. So, because I do not understand their own, I try to force mine on them because I don't understand them. And hence, the definition comes in. You tend to try to change people to suit what you are comfortable with. And this happens more in the, as you call them, boxes. You find that you're in the box of a ministry or a church, or maybe you're in the box of school. You call them boxes, as you call them. So this happens in different boxes that you find yourself in, as you call them, because you find that's hence we have religion. People will tell you so and so is so religious. Why would they say so and so is so religious? That's what they've allowed to define them. So they do everything they're doing based on that. You go back to African marriages, they have a particular way of how they do things. That is their own. Western marriages are completely different. So you are defined by the culture where you're coming from. You are defined by your upbringing. You are defined by the people that are surrounding you. You are defined by what you read, what you watch, what you talk about. You are defined by what you fancy. Those are the things that define you. Even though we tend to say, no, it's not true. It is true, because the more you read something, the more you watch something, it is stored in your subconscious mind without knowing it will come out. For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Hence, I even brought Romans chapter 8, verse 28. The Bible says in Romans chapter 8, verse 28, I will read it for you. Romans 8:28, the Bible says, and we know that we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. In all things God works for the good. So you find that, okay, in all things, no matter the situation you find yourself in, sometimes it may be a bit difficult situation, but one thing is that the situation has a way of defining your end. I'll give you an example. Do you remember the woman of the issue of blood in the Bible? She was defined by the issue of blood that she was going through. I never knew her name. All I knew is that she was the woman of the issue of blood. Do you know what is so
Wow.
funny? This woman got healed, but the Bible did not change the name. We will still know her as the woman of the issue of blood. Her situation defined her. So, who defines you? What defines you? What do you allow to define you? So, in a nutshell, I think that is what I meant when I asked the question, who defines you, and when I wrote that nugget.
And the challenge that we face
Yeah.
is that when our subconscious has a programming that is anti-God,
Yeah.
anti-Bible, we have a challenge to intentionally, consistently, continually engage the standard God has for us,
Yeah.
and get into confession. I think the other day in one of your shows, you spoke about confession, just reaffirming who you are from God's perspective, because it's so
Mm,
crucial.
mm,
Generally, people who do not like you, people who do not want you to succeed, cannot speak highly of you,
yeah.
cannot see you, based on how God says you are.
Yeah.
And as a result, it somehow is up to us to find out what God says and allow
Yeah.
the word of God to define us, and also to help us have the correct perspective so we may be able to manifest on that level. But
Yeah.
having said that, you also makes this very interesting question, and I want to understand your heart between who defines you, and you also said do not let other people label you. It's almost the same thing. It's the same thing. It's almost the same thing. But I think it's a progressive thought.
Mhm.
Please pour
It's
your heart on that.
it's more or less like what I was just saying right now. I'll give you an example. I've seen people
Yeah.
that they have a goal in life, but because of what they found themselves going through, people have labeled them that. For instance, I gave the example of the woman of the issue of blood. This woman of the issue of blood, according to the story in the Bible, we find out that she was somebody who actually was significant in the society. She was doing well. She was financially okay in the society. So she was actually somebody who was contributing positively in the society. But after she got something that was negative in her, what happened? People changed. They did not even remember the good that she was doing or how well she was. They just decided, okay, for now onwards, this is the woman with the issue of blood. They decided to label her a woman with the issue of blood, not even considering whether she liked the label or she did not like the label. So people can leave alone that one. Another thing is people can lie against you. People can say that you have done things or you've done that and you've done that and you did not do it. And if you are not careful, that can end up becoming the truth about you from other people. If you are not careful, you will accept.
Yeah.
Because I remember there was a time in my life that there's sometimes you don't understand. People just talk, and I got to a point where I was like, I am not going to justify myself. I am tired. I am not going to justify
Wow.
myself. That's what they believe anyway. It is not true. I know it's not true, but I don't know how to prove it because it looks like the lies are spreading more than the truth. So at the end of the day, I was like, okay, if that is what they want me to be, it's fine. I allowed them to label me. At the end
Wow.
is sometimes other people may come out of it, others may not. Eventually, along the way, I said to
Sure.
myself, no, that's not who I am. So I will not allow myself to be that. But there are people who have died in that. They've given up because they're like, this is what people look, this is what they think of me. Why will I bother myself? They condemn me. Why will I even try to justify anything? So some of these things, allowing people to define who you are, allowing people to label you, allowing people to deal with you the way they think they should deal with you is a painful time. It's a really painful thing because if you're not careful, it will hinder you from achieving your goals. It will stop you because if people say you are shy, I remember when I was in school, they used to say that I'm shy. I was not shy. I was not shy, but they believed I was shy. So I was like, okay. So I kept to myself because they say I'm shy. Yes, probably I might have shown a little bit because I'm in between. I'm a kind of person who can keep to myself and I can also talk when there's need. So maybe they did not understand both the fact that I can be both an introvert and an extrovert. I'm in between. I have both. So maybe they did not understand that. So the time they see me quiet, they just believed I am shy. So without even realizing, I started withdrawing. I was like, oh, they say I'm shy, so I cannot do that. I just keep to myself. Until later on, I realized that, hey, this is not who I am. So you do not allow people, whatever the things that people say about you, they can be condemning or they can be encouraging. But if you're not careful, they can end up making you you. So you have to know, you have to ask yourself, who are you?
That's so powerful. The other thing, maybe I would ask you to expound on, which is actually a progressive thought, because after one gets to a space where you do not allow people to define you, you deal with the issue of the potential you have and
Mhm.
how crucial it is for you to believe in your potential. One, you resist the temptation of living up to people's standards, but on the other side, you have potential that you want to share with the family of men. How crucial is it for one to believe in the God-given potential?
You know, when you bring that up, actually I'm gonna say it in a way that I think I understand better, because most of the time you need to say no to you by yourself and understand this, that everybody can make mistakes, and it doesn't matter the mistake you make. You can stumble at times, but it doesn't matter the stumbling that you have done. What matters is, after you made the mistake, did you get up? Are you willing to get up and move on? Because what I've realized with people around us, you can decide, I'm not going to allow people to label me, but you can still have the fear of
Mm,
facing your destiny. Because let's
mm,
say you're like, okay, I'm not going to allow anybody to control my life. And then you find out that you are a speaker. You're somebody who has to speak to people, or you are a musician. And then now you start singing, you ask yourself, okay, who's going to buy my CDs, or who's going to listen to my songs, or who's going to listen to all these things that I'm trying to articulate? So now, without realizing, you may start going back to the same people, trying to please them, to bring them back, for them to get closer to you, just because you think that they hold your life, not knowing that as long as you have a call in your life and you are willing to pursue it, as long as you have a purpose in life and you know it and you're willing to pursue it, do it the best way you can. The same purpose has the ability to attract the right people. So do not depend on people saying, if I don't do it, so and so, or if I don't try to please so and so, they may leave me. I'm not, I will not be able to achieve my prophetic destiny, or I may not be able to get to where I want to get to. Oh no, let me tell you something. God will bring destiny helpers to you, but most of the time, the destiny helpers are not even people that you know. They're not even the people that are very close to you. So you need to get to a point in your life where you say, you know what? This is what I'm meant to be. This is the call I have in my life. This is my destiny. And I am willing to run this race. When I fall, I will stand. When I feel like crying, I will cry, wipe my tears, but get up and move on, because it is your call. You are you, the unique you, the best that God has ever made. Nobody else can be able to do it the best, as good as you will be able to do it. If we can understand that,
Wow.
we will never compete over anything. On the contrary, we will complement one another. I don't know if I answered you, sir.
That's powerful. That's powerful, woman of God, because there are a few thoughts I wish to contribute, just to embellish on what you have said. But let me take a moment and appreciate Nelson Gill for watching. Thank you so very much for watching. We also have Rulani, who it's precious, who liked or loved the thoughts you were contributing.
Mhm,
There is this thing, as you were talking about potential, and the need for one not to allow people to define you, and the importance of you believing in your potential, and dealing with the mental struggle that
yeah.
some of us, or so many of us, face, more especially when you have to do something. You gave an example with an album. Could be an
Mm,
album. You and I, by the grace of God, we are into music ministry and also into writing.
mm,
Others are into business, selling things. I think of a woman that sells tomatoes,
mhm,
and she does it for 20, 30, 40 years, raises a family from money that she makes from that.
mhm,
The battle she fights every day in her mind,
mhm,
will people buy? What if they don't buy? What will happen if they don't buy?
mhm,
What if I go there? Maybe the weather is funny and I
mhm,
cannot, and maybe these tomatoes will just get spoiled.
mhm,
And you think of that, you take it to our world, where
mhm,
so many of us are not standing to make things happen because you are counting so much on the what if nots, instead of looking at, God gave me this thing. Someone is going to be blessed through it. Somebody's life is going
mhm,
to be changed. I'm going to do it. Thinking maybe before I bring you on board. Oliver Mtukut's one of the African legends musically, coming from
mhm,
Oliver Mtukut's did about 67 albums before he transitioned to the other side.
mhm,
And I've come to learn that he got his major breakthrough around the 40th, if not the 41st album. I'm open for correction.
mhm, mhm,
You think of the the need to be consistent, to persevere through and through, and not give up. What is your take on that, woman of God?
To be sincere, there's something I've come to realize of late. We have this thing, the fear of the unknown. You sit down, you're like, is it possible for me to do this? This looks too big for me to do. So you get yourself in a place where, like, I know I may not be able to do this. I'm not good enough. So most of the time, we ourselves, we are the ones who discourage ourselves because we look down on ourselves. Many times when I talk, I always say, be your greatest cheerleader. Many times I always say, be the one that speak positive more to you. Because as long as we are here on the
Wow.
face of the earth, let me tell you one thing you need to know. Everybody have their own race to run. Unless there is no way anyone can listen to you unless you give them a reason to listen to you. If
Wow.
we don't know the potential you
That's
have,
powerful.
if we don't know you can sing and you're afraid to get it out, how will we be able to listen to you? It's one thing to talk and it's another thing to do. I was telling somebody the other day, yes, we run and say that I am called, I am called. The Bible says many are called, but few are chosen. I said, do you know why many are
Mm.
called, but few are chosen? Everybody on the face of the earth has a call. Everybody on the face of the earth has a gift, but very few people are willing to take a step and say, despite the fact that it looks impossible, I'm willing to try. It looked impossible for Elijah to stand up and say, you know what, Ahab, you have done a lot of bad things. There will be no rain. There will be doubt in your heart. And say, imagine, what if I said there will be no rain and then it starts raining? But the
Mm.
guy was willing to take the step. Many
Mm.
are called, but few are chosen. So the choice is left for you.
Wow.
Be the kind of person who can stand up and say to yourself, you know what? I am here. I am called. I'm here. I have a destiny. I am here. I have a purpose. And I am willing to take the step to run with this purpose, no matter what.
Wow. Philippians 4:13.
Okay. So at the end of the day, we have a choice to make. At the end of the
Mm.
day, we have to be a people who say to ourselves, I am called here, I'm here for a purpose, and I'm going to fulfill that purpose no matter how draining or how difficult it is. The choice has to start
Mm.
from you. So that
Mm.
is, we are still talking about my book. Next week, please join. We'll still continue talking about the book. We have a lot to talk about, but I think I'm going to leave you now. I have a lot to do also, but we are still going to continue talking about this. We have questions. I will still talk and for you to understand why I wrote the things I wrote. I love you all so much. Always remember you are the best that God has ever made. And always remember, no matter what you do, don't look down on yourself. Allow you to define you well. No matter what anybody say, ignore it. Because
Yes.
you are not a mistake. You are a blessing. Remember
Mm.
that. In all things, remember, as I always say,
Mm.
that in what we are
Can
doing,
I
we are meant to be real. Yes, I'm listening to you.
can before you put your signature there, allow me to acknowledge the following people. Audrima
Yes.
Singitamalaji,
Mhm.
thank you so very much. We also have got Advocate Apostle AJ Baloi. Thank you so very much. We have one of the rising R&B and online personality, Christopher Baloi, great gift.
Mhm.
We also have got Pastor Arthur Buisa. Thank you so much for being on board.
Mhm.
And who else am I living? Another one, just Evangelist Sada Nasia. I think they're joining us from Pakistan. Or Drima Singita Malaji, thank you so much for coming on board. Oh, yes. I can now hand over to you, woman of God. Thank you so much for even allowing me to be with you today. I
Thank you
appreciate
so
them.
much. Thank you so much. We'll continue
Asante,
talking about
asante
that.
sana.
Ubarikiwe.
Asante sana.
Thank you so much, you all. I really love you. And I'm going to end it here. We'll continue again next week. Remember, you are meant to be authentic and not flawless. Always remember that. And no matter what you do, always remember you are meant to be real and not perfect. Be authentic the best way you can. Be real the best way you can. I love you all. Bye.